Alright, hey guys. I just want to make an argument against using XPS to share models. On DeviantArt, it seems to be kind of a popular thing when people share a character model, they upload it in XPS. Okay, XPS is XNA Posing Studios. It's just some silly 3D viewers. And you can pose things. I really don't know if anybody actually uses it really. Any kind of artwork you see using character models is usually done in Source Filmmaker or Blender. Like I never see anybody actually doing anything in XPS. So for some reason it's used to distribute models, and the format itself is depreciated, meaning it's not going to support the newest and greatest features that the latest games are going to support. For one, for example, we're making a shift from the shaders we're using before, like normal maps and specular maps, all that crap, and we're moving over to physical-based shading, which is using roughness maps and metallic maps. So they're not compatible. XPS can't be compatible with that because it's based on a framework that was built on DirectX 10, which is outdated now. We're on DirectX 12 and up. So XPS in general is just it should be phasing out now. People should stop using it, and they should start using Blender. I've asked people about it. Why don't you switch to Blender? Some people are saying, I don't have a graphics card, or um, you know, they think Blender is too difficult or something, and that's just not true. Blender's not that difficult. The 2.8 update made it really comprehensible. There's like 1,000 videos on YouTube explaining how easy and how to use it. So it's just a matter of inconvenience. Just spend 10 minutes and watch a video, and then you automatically know how to use Blender. Okay, so it's not a big deal. The graphics card situation, I get it. If you're serious about 3D, I think you're going to be serious about getting a computer that has integrated graphics, which is pretty cheap these days. So really, I don't really find that a strong argument. I don't have a computer that, like, what are you using? A computer from the 80s? Come on, like every computer, a modern computer has integrated graphics at this point. So I can't take that as a valid argument. But anyway, there's another argument I want to make, and that's that the format is really dirty. And I just want to talk about the history of it, and maybe you guys understand why this format really shouldn't be used anyway. Okay, so this is the Tomb Raider forums. This is where it actually all started. Maybe some people don't know this. The program was actually called XNA LoRa, and it was actually written by this person, Dunson, originally. Okay, it was originally a model viewing program for Tomb Raider Underworlds, actually. It was made on Microsoft's XNA framework, which was actually to get people to program games on the Xbox 360. So of course it supported all the latest and greatest technologies like normal maps and specular maps and all that cool stuff. So this model viewing program came out. It just looked phenomenal. It looked the way, like the models looked exactly the way they would in the video games, and so it gained a lot of popularity. Anyway, there's another guy involved. This guy here, his name is XNA Al. We'll just call him Al. Clearly his name is a wordplay. It's just reversing the word XNA Laura to XNA Orla. This is really encompassing this person's personality. Okay, they are basically, a phony con person. They're a doppelganger. Okay? They're just making joke of it, right? They're copying XNA Laura. That's essentially what they did. So the source code is available. Okay, they thought that they could make some improvements to it, and I would give them that. They added a change to the code, which more or less is just a fix or a patch that allows for you to customize your shaders so you can feed it in a string of parameters, so you could change the shader behavior, so you could apply different maps such as normal map and stuff like that. So yeah, they did add a contribution. Now that code was both integrated in XNA and LoRa, so for some reason he had made his own version of XNA and LoRa. So there was, he wanted his own version for some reason. So he recompiled it, and I think he called it XNA LoRa 2.0, which was very confusing. And so he did something just, in my opinion, downright wrong, and he tried to gain the followers of XNA and LoRa and bring them into his ecosystem, to bring them to his program to make people use his program. So the way he accomplished this is basically, and I'm going to dumb this down, okay, so people are maybe going to argue with the morphism that I'm going to use, but basically his program is a virus. And every time you open a model in XPS, XNA Posing Studios, it infects the model. That makes the model incapable of being opened up on a program like XNA LoRa. So what this did originally was it corrupted the models so that the original program would no longer work, so people would have to download his program. But that didn't stop there. He continued to do that. After XNA LoRa was dead, people started writing plugins for Blender and 3ds Max to import and export the geometry out of XPS, right? So again, this guy lost his, went crazy, lost his mind, and he did the same thing. He started corrupting more model files to force people to keep upgrading and downloading his next version of his great program, right? And he put up great effort to make it look like he did so much work, right? So a lot of, if someone's trying to sell you something, they're clearly trying to sell you a lie, okay? You can see he's selling a really well thought out lie. It's massive. If you look in the contrast to the original authors post, they give you the source code right here, right? A couple, think, oh, here, there's a change log. Here's the main things you need to know, okay? The other one, just full of BS, man. BS after BS after BS. You know what else? No source code. This thing's closed source. Why? Because, if someone's seen the source code, they would know every little dirty secret this guy did. And I'm going to show you a little hint of this. If you open up an XPS file in a hex editor, you're going to notice something nasty about it. There's some garbage written on the top of the file. It has nothing to do with the model. Okay. First off, you'll see his name printed at the top. Okay, and then you're going to show you some of this random stuff. And this random stuff is actually personal information. This is someone's private information printed in the file. So what happens is when you install XPS on your computer, it harvests and steals your personal information. We don't know what he does with it. Maybe he collects it. I don't know. Maybe he sells it. We don't know what he does with it. But one thing he does do with it is he uses it as an obfuscation method. Obfuscation is just a way to scramble data so that the file cannot be read. So when you install XPS, it collects your username, your computer's network name, your user directory name, and it puts that all in the top here. Okay, so if I was somebody that knew what I was doing, I can now see the person's potentially their full name, right, their computer name, and that would give me enough information to actually target them, access their computer, and steal more information from them, even steal their identity. That's wild. Now, that's not told to you. When you download XPS, it doesn't say, oh, I'm going to be stealing and sharing your private information and, breach your privacy, right? So it's not made clear to the end user. But that's what's happening every time you save an XPS file or when you install XPS. It's an infectious program. Should not be used. The format is garbage, okay? So this is the format. This is the XPS format. If we look at the original file from Dunstan, this is the original author. This is what the file looks like. It just starts off with a thing called root ground, and it goes and continues to go through the other bones, right? You'll find if you keep scrolling far enough, you'll see that Dunstan's original file is still here, okay? It's intact. Here's root ground, all the other bones that are supposed to be here. So simply this guy, all he's done is he's just added a bunch of garbage to the file to obfuscate it over time. So this has not just appeared here overnight. This has been over several years. Somebody figures out what he did. He just adds more garbage. He keeps adding and adding and adding. You can see he's gotten lazy over the years, and he just put a bunch of zeros. Lately this year, he's gotten more sophisticated at it. He started writing random arithmetic into the actual geometry to actually prevent, like a security to prevent people from reading the model data, because he wants people to use only his program, okay? So those are my arguments against XPS, okay? It's a dying platform. It's a dirty format. Do not use it, guys. I understand you have noble intentions. You want to, offer the geometry to people that don't have high-end hardware, but the format is just, it's awful. Stop using it, please. Download Blender. It's free. You can distribute your files as FBX. People are going to be fine with FBX, okay? If they have a problem with Blender, they can always download Gnosis. Gnosis is free, and it doesn't require a graphics card. You can use that to convert your FBX to object, or even glTF if that's what you want. So just use FBX, guys, okay? Just use that as the format that you're going to share your models in, because it's going to be able to keep all your textures and stuff like that. instead of XPS. XPS is garbage. Just please stop using it. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.